There's some other Saddlemen seats that I was looking at that were just like, yeah, this is a weird motion. Hey, what's going on, motorcycling friends? So, me and the Lepera Aviator, we had a really good run. We spent about the last 7 months together. It's treated me well. Sometimes you just gotta move on. It's new seat day. It's time for the Saddlemen Step-up. Now, I've done a review of the Aviator already. It's on my channel, I'll link it below. In that video, I talk about what I like about it and what I don't like about it, its usefulness, and some things that are not so useful. So go check out that video if you're interested at all in the Aviator. So why am I going with the Saddlemen Step-up? A lot of different reasons. One of the main reasons is I put passenger pegs in this bike when I replaced the exhaust here with the Vans & Hines Big Radius last September. So that's 6 months of having passenger pegs on here without actually being able to have a passenger on here. So one thing I didn't like about the Aviator is this baby's got back, but just not enough to be able to carry another passenger. Step-up is perfect. It's got this nice long tail here in which I can have a passenger on there. Another reason, like the Aviator, the Step-up, even more pronounced, has this very high back here. So when I pull on that throttle and get pushed back into the saddle, it's gonna keep me in place. Now, I know this saddle is used by a lot of riders who are doing tricks and wheelies and such. I'm not that type of rider. I never will be. But it will definitely keep me in place when I pull on the throttle. So, I'm gonna talk more about it, but before I yammer on too much, let's get this thing installed. So I know I said I'd stop yammering on and get this thing on the bike, but I just wanted to say a few things before I got it on the bike. I want to talk about the underside. It's fully carpeted here, so it's going to protect your fender. But honestly, I already have damage on my fender from my previous seats. I'm not too concerned about that. And underneath this carpeting, it's solid fiberglass. I've had 2 other seats. One was a stock seat, it's plastic, you can bend that damn thing. And the Aviator is made of steel. Pretty hard stuff. So this fiberglass pan, it's very, very stiff and very, very hard. Now, it might seem counterintuitive that a hard base would be comfortable, but it truthfully is. And I come from the cycling world, where on my bicycles, if I have a soft seat, I learned rather quickly that that won't be comfortable on longer rides. The same thing is true for your motorcycle seats. A harder base plate will be much more comfortable, especially on those really long rides. It has a few other things on the bottom here. Like most really good seats, it's got rubber bumpers here, A, to protect the paint, But more importantly, it's rubber. It's gonna dampen those vibrations coming from our Harleys. Let's get this on there now. Stop yammering. So I'm thinking that looks pretty good. A couple other reasons why I got the Saddlemen Step-up. I have the Burley sissy bar in the back here. I wanted a one-piece seat with rider and passenger that fit with the Burley bar. There's some other Saddlemen seats that I was looking at that were just like, yeah, this is a weird motion. There are other Saddlemen seats where they're just too wide here to fit between the Burley bar. This fits perfect. The other seats that would fit in here, it was a very minimalist passenger seat, and it just didn't look comfortable at all. And the reviews that I've read for some of these other seats, it really wasn't comfortable, especially for longer rides. So comfort for the passenger was important. Inside the seat, it's not just foam padding. Inside the Saddlemen Step-up has their gel core technology. So there's gel inside the sucker. From what I understand, they combine that gel core technology inside their saddle design to create a viscoelastic polymer. I'm just rattling off words right now. I have no idea what I just said. But what that's supposed to do is create their saddle gel technology for a really comfortable ride. That's what I'm going for. I talked about this in some other videos, and a lot of subscribers to my channel know that I'm gonna be taking a trip from Madison, Wisconsin, where I live right now, all the way to San Diego this June. Yes, I'm gonna be doing it on a Sporty. And I'm making some changes to the bike to be able to do that. And the Saddlemen Step-up is part of that. What I read about the Saddlemen, and I did not think at all with any of my other seats, is it's going to be hard as hell at first. And that was the case for my Aviator. After a few hundred miles, maybe 500 miles, it really softened up and it was a really comfortable ride. Same thing with this, it's gonna be pretty stiff for the first couple hundred miles, and then it will soften up enough and get pretty comfortable. But what Saddlemen says is it will lower about a ½ inch. And I didn't think about that at all with any other seat until I read that. But now that I read that and think more deeply about it, the exact same thing happened with my Aviator. I felt lower in the seat. Didn't really think about it until I processed it in my mind after reading that about the Saddlemen. The other thing that I wanted with the Saddlemen that I couldn't have had with the Aviator, and I talk about it in my review of the Aviator, I'm gonna put a nice big Kiriakin bag on the back of my bike here above the fender. With the Aviator, that was impossible because the Aviator came out to about right here, and there's this nice big gap where that bag would sit and rock. So I wasn't able to attach it all that great. With this, I'll be able to set that Kiriakin bag on back here, strap it to the sissy bar, and I'm good to go. That's a nice big bag. And I'll be able to take that on that long trip and any other trip that I'd want to take. So if I were to go just in the way the Saddlemen Step-up looks on the bike compared to the Aviator, I'm sold. But that is just on aesthetics alone. I mean, that looks nice and clean on the bike. Yeah, I really like the way that looks. Quite honestly, I mean, obviously I haven't ridden yet, but it looks a lot more secure on the bike than the Aviator did. So I'm gonna get on and ride now, but keep in mind, this is not a review of the Step-up. This is just my first thoughts and say, hey, I'm switching from the Aviator to the Saddlemen Step-up, and here's why. I'll probably do a review of it after a couple thousand miles maybe, but we'll see. So let's ride. It's hard, it really is. And I'm trying to keep that in mind with this first ride, because I remember when I first got the Aviator, it was pretty hard as well. And anytime you get a new seat, it's a new riding position, whether it moves you forward or backwards or you're sitting higher or lower, it's gonna be a different experience for sure. And it already feels a little higher. But like I said earlier in this video, it's probably gonna squish down a ½ inch. At least that's what Saddlemen says. And I experienced that with the Aviator too, so definitely don't doubt that. I'm definitely sitting higher. I'm getting a lot more wind above the windshield. So I'm actually looking forward to it sagging that ½ inch. And I really wish I could pull on the throttle, but it's cold out today, 25 degrees. Today is not that day. It's funny, like when I got the Aviator, I felt like I was riding a different bike when I went from stock to the Aviator. I'm experiencing the same thing now. with the Saddlemen Step-up. My riding position just feels so much different. But what it's supposed to do is lock you in. That's why you see a lot of the guys doing tricks. Choose the Saddlemen because it locks you in. You're not gonna see me do any sick wheelies anytime soon. And if you unsubscribe because of that, so be it. I doubt that's the case though. Another thing I like about it initially is it locks me in, but the saddle is a lot thinner than the Aviator. It's more svelte. And I think that's gonna add a lot of comfort. Coming from the cycling world, your brain thinks that a wider saddle, a wider, cushier saddle is more comfortable. That's why you see at like Target and Walmart, all these bikes have these really wide, cushy saddles. The reality is those suckers, they're called comfort saddles or comfy saddles. Those things are ridiculously uncomfortable because they cause friction. And friction, my friends, is not your friend. It's kind of the same thing with these motorcycle saddles, especially if you move around a lot on the bikes. And I tend to do that. It feels grippy, but I feel like I can pick my body up and move it around because of how thin the saddle is. And I really dig the diamond stitching on it too. When I bought the Aviator, I really wanted a seat with diamond stitching just because I like that style a lot more. And I figure if I'm spending $460 on a motorcycle seat, I'm gonna get the style that I want. Man, I feel a lot closer to the handlebars too. But as you'll see in a future video, these handlebars, it's not something I'm keeping. So that will change as well. So yeah, initial thoughts. I love how the Saddlemen Step-up looks on the bike. I love how it installs on the bike. It's not a whole lot different than other seats, but it just connects to my bike a lot differently than the Aviator did. I like how svelte it is, how I feel like I can move my legs around more easily than with the Aviator or with the stock saddle. And I like how it holds me in, but gives me a little bit of room to move around because of how svelte it is. And like any seat, it's hard at first. So I'm looking forward to breaking it in after 200 or 300 miles. So yeah, these are my initial thoughts on the Saddlemen. I'll do a full review in a couple thousand miles. But hey, before I go, I just want to talk to you about another video creator out there who's also riding a Harley Iron 883. I was just kind of perusing YouTube, I don't know, about a week ago or so, and I came across D-Cycle's YouTube page. He's just getting started. He's probably got 3 or 4 videos out there now. One of his first videos that I watched was an FP3 video that he was doing. And his channel is really heading in the right direction. I encourage everybody watching this video to head on over to D-Cycle's channel. Check it out. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel if you like what he's doing. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do next. So I got a card at the top of the screen, and I also got a link down below in the description. So thanks for watching this one, everybody. If you like what you saw here, or if you learned something, go ahead and click on that like button. If you're new here, or if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. It's right now down in the lower left-hand part of your screen. As always, guys, stay safe riding out there. Even amongst heavy traffic like this, keep your wheels rolling in the right direction. See you later.